toyinza kugamba omusajja bwe basuzizza
ku luguudo mu mmotoka
oyita tukosoni mani obujuzi bwe balina mutwe kyekyaba tukyayisa twabakyawo I'm a product of the sex act between Mirundi and his wife. The chairman of the commission or died job to what type of man who sees a naked woman that a pregnant woman is warm? A person who can sacrifice castle. People in Uganda to be listened to be
followed.
That's why me, I told you, because I'm a mass communicator, I wrote this book, The History of Media in Uganda. And I said that what is important, the credibility of the source. The source must be credible.
Of course.
The people, although you say that the people are gullible, but the people have alternatives.
Of course.
Newspapers are not the only source. People download. People fall up other streams. People watch the internet. They also access the internet. They have CNN. They have Al Jazeera. They have Sky. They have
Sky
BBC. In my time, the only source of information could listen, because my father, when I recited the poem for Idi Amin,
I had that.
Amin visited my area in 1973. At that time, I was a primary 3 kid. But because I had a sharp memory, I was selected to recite the poem for Idi Amin, which stuck in my head. Amin shook hands with me, and I became a village celebrity. This was my first time to say.
That was in Kalagala.
It was my first time to sign a helicopter. The second time I signed a helicopter is when a village man, the man was called Sematimba. Sematimba was in the flying police. He could pilot his helicopter, land at our Chisau, Matali Mixed Primary School where he was. Muyaja. Sematimba no time came, landed at Chisau Zaffe, Nagenda Alabama in the Sataway. His father was called George Messi. George Messi. That's why I caused a stampede in the church when I was taken there for baptism at the age of 6. Because I had heard about this George Messi. So at that time, priests, Catholic priests, named the names after the days saint. Sibino ebyamwe
ebyaffe ebyokulonda obulonzi kojja wa jjajja yatumye
bafaza balinya basomanga ekitabo ky'olunaku olwo balwalido Edward Mangada Margaret Francis bamuyitanga bati Abaganda Gandalized these names Yohana Mirundi John Mirundi
Yosefu.
Yosefu. Ogendere wa Yosefu. So Baganda, you see. Abaganda bali bakezi nyo. Yeah, all Africans. How did I told you that an overall? The Baganda when they look at a man, these mechanics, they take the pocket driver, also getting roads, putting on overalls. Which the overall. We call it an overall coat?
Yes, an overall.
An overall.
Yes, an overall.
So the Baganda, because it had no trousers, it was only split divided between the trousers and the shirt. The Baganda nickname would it Muzungu Tapama. That a Muzungu cannot go to the toilet. How? Because if the Muzungu was going to the toilet, then he wouldn't be putting on a trouser.
An overall.
An overall. Yes. Because how does he
go to the toilet
when he goes to the toilet? So this Waganda we are very we call it Muzungu Tapama. The bicycle in my language is called Muganzi Takola Chiri. that a loved wife cannot annoy the husband. Why? That the Wakanda argued that the bicycle, even if you fall off the bicycle, tomorrow you will ride it.
Of course.
Immediately after falling off the bicycle, you will back on it. So that
you rise up and lift it.
The bicycle is a lovely woman. Even if she does things that annoy you, you cannot tell her to go away, you cannot sack her. So that is the bicycle. Now what I'm telling you is that for me, I'm extremely happy.
Yes,
why? The Baganda have a saying, a proverb, that when a medicine man will get respect if what is predicted
comes to pass.
A mandwa, when a man says, like a mandwa to lay, you allow this medicine man, you allow this witch man, the witch, to sit, because what the man predicted has come to pass. That's what I say. All of these books you see here are predictive books. All of them. This is for journalism. This one I said Museveni's succession will be bloody. Because we have two extreme ends. Some members of the first family want to succeed Museveni by all costs. But these are the most unpopular members of the first family in Uganda. In fact, if Museveni makes a mistake of allowing this faction, the extremist faction,
in his own family,
power in Uganda, we just close with the opposition. We cannot work with these people. It cannot.
Of course, that's why you said if Museveni goes, you work on a parallel party.
People are asking, why is Bobi Wine supporting NRM candidates? The reason is that two. 1, 3, Bobi Wine does not have the money. Museveni follows all the accounts of would-be financiers of Bobi Wine and his enemies. Museveni knew that there was a faction within his government that was stealing money to use it for campaigns. How can you account, or you say, how much money did the government spend on COVID? Yes, there was no food. In one incident, food was mixed with the soil. The milk that was supposed to be given to breastfeeding mothers wasn't given. But
Museveni freezing opposition people's accounts, is it fair play?
The owner of that company is not far away from the president, and the man who mixed the soil with the beans and what is not far away from the president, because somebody wanted to destroy somebody's company to get the money
the tender
from Mandela. I have recordings. What about the food? Museveni released 59 billion to these people. When they left the state house immediately, not 5 miles away, at Kitugulu, they fought each other. The money was stolen, and the people who are supposed to administer this money, the permanent secretary, Prime Minister's office, who are today, and Awol, who was an expert. Awol, I pity Awol in many ways. Awol was working with UN refugees. And it was lured into Uganda that there was a good job in Uganda. The man was supposed to go to Malaysia. Out of patriotism that I'm Ugandan, the man is languishing in the prison. Why? Because the president consulted him. It was Awol who told the president asked him, if I look Kampala for 14 days, how much money do I need? This man explained, because he was an expert, that earned him losing his job in the Prime Minister's office. They were even shameless. They went, searched his house, and they found 3 bags of maize flour.
And jerrycans, and just jerrycans.
The man was hiding. That's why you people who are doing these things, you cannot escape the wrath of Ugandans. So that's the one. I tell you, I'm an extremely happy man. Because what I predicted about COVID has come to pass. Look at this book. When we were going to change the 70-year cap,
again at crossroads.
yes, I wrote this book again at crossroads. I said we are at crossroads again, but I said Museveni always picks the right direction. We had a multi-party. Many people, many Ugandans were skeptical about the return to multi-party. The leaders of political parties, like Dr. Somogere, said, this is our right, which cannot be subjected to referendum. Museveni divided his team into two and campaigned for the return of the multi-party. And what did Museveni say? Museveni said because the earlier said that political multi-party in Africa is divisive. What he said this time, he said, we have people we are keeping in a house, but they are making noise.
Yes.
The pass-buyers are saying that we are mistreating them. Why don't we allow them to go? Museveni bwe yagamba tulina abali mu nyumba tulina bo bawukana tubate bagende
abayitawo balowooza tubabonyaabonye.
Museveni yagamba you do not contradict his earlier statement nti ebibiina by'obufuzi bitabula abantu. But the same Museveni goes ahead and brings along the iPod with political parties. Any political party that has members of parliament gets money. This explains why Mao has managed to construct a DP headquarters which eluded Dr. Somogere and Ben Chiwanuka. Why? With the 14 members of parliament, these 14 members of parliament were given the party by having 14 members of parliament. This man was getting money, the DP party was getting money. So I wrote this one. I said Museveni is always, whenever he comes at the crossroad,
he chooses the right direction.
Elections of 1980, Museveni decided to go to the bush. He was condemned at that time as a warmonger. Somogere who had lost election, he joined the parliament, but he lost many MPs.
Yes.
DP MPs were pressurized to cross to UPs. Eventually, Museveni triumphed. This is a campaign book. This one is in Iru. When I write for campaigns, I write in many languages. This is a Uganda version. I predicted about Kampala. I told you that Musisi is being used by the mafias. So I posed the question.
For money?
Kampala for money or for better? I said, all of the people, what is going on in Kampala will fail. I even predicted the failure of the buses, the pioneer buses that we have. Because I have invested heavily in the taxi business. You know, whoever wanted to try to invest in the taxi business, you failed. Ugandans are impatient. Buses cannot, except where you have buses that can leave on time. A bus can say, I'm going to Kasese at 8.
I'm leaving. Whether
like
if they are half passengers or what.
This one is about the electoral commission under Kasuja.
How mafias use sex scandals to malign targets.
When I see the current chairman of the electoral commission, I laugh at him. That man is likely to do exactly what Sekono did in 1980 to run away. In fact, the rumors are circulating that this man was running away and was intercepted at Busia. When in Uganda you get Radio Katwe, you cannot dismiss Radio Katwe. Why?
Of course.
Why has this man failed? The electoral chairperson has failed because he himself is a judge. And he doesn't know. Do you know that this man, Yamukama, was a DPP who charged the message with raping a woman after 2 years?
After 2 years.
Did you see Besigye complaining about this man? Besigye was not interested in the elections. Otherwise, Byabakama couldn't be the chairperson of the electoral commission. Why? As a DPP, he took Besigye to court over a case of rape that had occurred, allegedly occurred 2 years ago.
Without evidence.
How? Elementary law on rape cases, you don't kill him, the woman does not walk there. You must, the semen is very important. Stuck and the woman is somewhere and fighting the bruises. So this Byabakama, was DPP and we charged the message with rape. This was a holding case. There was no way, and the message was acquitted because nobody could convict the message, nobody could adduce evidence of an incident that had occurred 2 years ago. Had his deputy is a novice, a former head mistress, because he's a Muslim. When you have an election, the electoral commission cannot have people because who have been sent there because of gender balancing and what. Yes, we say women are our mothers, women are our sisters, but get a capable woman, a capable woman. Who is complaining about Kadaga? Kadaga is a capable woman.
Of course.
If you don't have a capable woman, then don't talk about gender because the law says this, because the law. Yes, in 1924, women voted for the first time in the United States of America. Women were not voting until 1924. Blacks were not voting in some states until 1964. So it changes, before you change, changes must correspond with the capability.
Of course.
But we cannot say that we need a woman.
And of course in challenging times, like an electoral time.
How many people who know that there is the deputy chairperson, this woman, they know her name. Do you know her name? Do you know her name?
It's so weird. I can't even remember her.
To get a docile woman because of the gender, you rather not you put
a capable person and forget about gender balance.
Why is it that this law does not apply in UPDF? One of the reasons why UPDF has performed well is because the second has lagged off complaints about tribalism. No, you look at the army, the USA Army. Most of the soldiers, the rank and the fight, these are blacks. The commanders are whites. But by the time they got a black man, George Powell, has reached that level. Condoleezza Rice had reached that level. Obama had reached that level. The question was not black. Not in
the question was the ability given at the time.
This would apply in Uganda, where you don't have a capable woman to learn this, don't bring her. Because gender requires. Who knows? I've asked you one question. Why I laugh at this man, the chairman of the electoral commission? Byabakama. One, the way I accompany governors of Bank of Uganda to print currency, that's the trust. Do we accompany our wives inside the doctor's room? When they go for checkup, the doctor can tell you, when should I come to pick my wife? In 2 years, in 2 hours we shall be finished. Which one is being finished? But this is a
trust them. You trust them because they have the skill.
In many cases, in the past, a doctor could not operate a woman without a nurse. This is, and many doctors were old people. I told you that in Uganda at independence we did not have a single doctor, medical doctor qualified. Obote took a motion to Parliament to say that the Europeans sat on us. All of the assistants, they call them what? Assistant what? Became doctors by law. Kisaka became a medical doctor by law. Dr. Lumu became a medical doctor by law.
Not by qualification.
No. All of the independent doctors were, we call them what? Assistants. Something like assistants. Medical assistants.
Medical assistants.
These were medical assistants. Most of the doctors you see here at independence, the Kisekas, the Rumuzi,
became doctors by
law.
Not by qualification.
No.
Or experience.
Parliament passed a law at independence that these are medical doctors by law. How many people died? Because in the European system, a black could not become a medical doctor. That was reserved for Europeans. My father, when he went to the Second World War, he was working in the signal department. But He remained a
signaler.
No, sergeant majors.
Hey,
I think they are
sergeant major.
This is
we
where
had that word in the village.
Sergeant major is the highest rank a black could get. It was in the, that's why these things are what historical. My father was working in the signal department during the Second World War.
John, I meaning John Mirundi.
John Mirundi. That's why when it comes to me running a very efficient intelligence organization, MISO, private one, that has created a storm in the country, it is not surprising.
Yes.
And when I produced
you have the background.
When I produced 2 lawyers, it's not surprising. My father was a village lawyer. This is a man who could handle all the issues. Mirundi was highly intelligent, like me. So certain things, certain things are...
I'm asking Mzee, are you trying to tell me there's a lot of inefficiencies in the EC right now?
How can you say that we have brought ballot papers in the country and
we have called
the
people
and the storing must be witnessed by all of the opposition leaders. That's rubbish. What if, because this man believes he's a populist, as I say,
he wants to impress.
The Governor Bank of Uganda is not accompanied by stakeholders to print currency. The doctor, if you take your wife to hospital, in many cases we don't accompany our wives.
We have that trust that
and
the doctor will do the needful.
The doctor is alone there, super naked. What type of man who sees a naked woman, especially pregnant ones, in Africa, in my language, they believe that a pregnant woman is warm. So how do you expect a medical doctor
to stay the same
in his room
after watching a naked pregnant woman?
In the past, the Bazungu insisted, the colonial government insisted, no woman can be treated and super naked before a married doctor
without
the absence of a nurse.
What if I demand it myself when I take the wife there?
We have cases. Why do we have priests who have children? Yes.
I don't know about that.
These ones go there early. Then their 30s. Tell a woman to sleep naked over his mother's age. Yes, because he's an expert. So our children, the trend has gone. In the previous year, we had a man, Dr. Charles. Dr. Charles was a gynecologist at a Catholic hospital in Rubaka. When he was arrested on treason charges by NRM government, the judges, the lawyer, Kayondo Henry, raised an issue. This is the only gynecologist we have in Uganda. What can we do?
We even have another one.
The judge said, why didn't he consider this? At that time they were judges. Today they are not judges. A federal lawyer is a judge. How many judges we have who have performing chambers? Most of the judges you have in Uganda, they come from federal chambers. A judge was a lawyer was a failure to run his chamber, becomes a judge. Do you think that people...
Nepotism is at a high rate here in the country. There's a lot of nepotism.
You know that lawyers, at times they are influenced by the mafia gang. They put their people there. In the case, the cases are handled by... That's why the corruption report, the antibody is corrupt. It stinks corruption. It's a kangaroo code. Whoever is arrested, the cases are not progressive because the intention is not to change this man. So that's one. The mistake of the Electoral Commission chairperson. 2, when does the Electoral Commission chairperson come in? Because in 1980, I wrote about it, that constituencies were gerrymandered.
Gerrymandering is splitting a lot of constituencies.
Cutting the constituencies where you have support. The NRM has done it. Why? In 1980, Apache North, Apache East, Apache Central, Apache West, it has 4 constituencies, Apache. Today, if you ask how many constituencies are in Apache, why? Because there was no formula. Today when the NRM came to power with the democracy, at that time the NRM was burning. There was a volcano inside the NRM to ensure democratic governance. One of the 10 commandments.
Now, they came with the 10 issues from the bush.
Yes. So they came out with a formula. Every 50,000 Ugandans are represented by an MP. That one has been abandoned. Who creates constituencies?
The same gerrymandering you're talking about.
Would have a monopoly on creating constituencies. Why? But these people knew, in order to deny the Electoral Commission this right of creating constituencies, they said even the Parliament can create constituencies because the Electoral Commission creates constituencies after the census. What if we shall not have a census? So this, when you look politically at the constituency level, you can find that some constituencies were gerrymandered. Yeah. I'm not surprised. NRM has so many constituencies unopposed. Some of them are not unopposed. But the fact is that you created you divided the church into two. If you create a church into two, a mosque into two, a mosque, do you expect a Catholic man to go through? You divide the church into two. You divide the constituency where the NRM is predominantly. Most of the supporters of NRM
are in the constituency. So you
when you
split
divide it into two, do you expect
the opposition
man to come?
Of course, you have done it just to increase numbers in parliament.
17 MPs of UPC went unopposed. Why don't we see a man, a candidate from the opposition becoming unopposed? Why?
There are no
because
opposition people that are not unopposed.
They buy off the opponents. In fact, there should be a law. And they don't know.
I need to understand, Mzee, how does that become a problem of Byabakama and the EC?
That there was a man, Dr. Lulume
Bayiga.
Lulume is in Uganda. Lulume was an effortless man. He stood against a man who was working in the State House. He was in the PPU, the Presidential Press Unit. That man was called Ngabirano. So, the government, it seems, wanted to defeat Ngabirano because Ngabirano had contested with the Professor Mondo Kakonyera. And Mondo Kakonyera made a very humiliating statement. Said, Ngabirano says he's close to the president because he works in the PPU, the Presidential Press Unit, which at one time headed, and I was abandoned out in a humiliating manner. And I lost the appetite for working for government. Maybe another government, but I will never work with this government.
You'd better say you lost the appetite for working for the NRM government.
When my mother was almost rich because of supporting Museveni, when my salary was low, immediately I left.
They increased the salary. The salary.
They will never see me again. I will never work in this government again. I'm supporting Museveni deliberately. You cannot call me in a meeting involving government people. No, the way he was humiliated, subjected me to a humiliating 6 months, half a year. This command who is the deputy, Kabushenga, respect yourself. Get out of a new vision. They have appointed a new man. Why should the hanger man fear to be hanged? What to the minimum? I said, Katukuba Nga to Furuma. Katukuba to Furuma. The Katukuba to Furuma. The Katumueva Zakania. I will never work with this government again. Never in my life. I will go back to my home area and make a bricks. I will move naked in tatters, but I will never work. I will never accept a job in this government. The way I was treated. Having delivered, committed the work that I go to president's office, I become an advisor to the president. If
this gentleman refusing to leave office,
this man who is he?
Butcher man.
If Butcher man can become an advisor of the president, and then why did I go to school, to university to get a master's degree? It's humiliating.
No, each of you serves a different purpose. The other one serves in the ghetto.
To the president, I would have told my children to expand that appointment because it reminds me humiliation. If you call me advisor to Museveni, I can get me your neck and kill you. There is so money I'm getting. How much money? Well, how should an advisor? How much money? Tell me how much money.
I don't know.
How much money I was getting. And the current people, Muroza to leave a silver sajamwe, Murinsikwe, also into Kutujoga, to leave a silver and to me. That you can be humiliated and then you call us back ahead. Impossible. So I'm telling you that this man, somebody else done his work, did his work. The Electoral Commission chairperson, the commission did not create constituencies.
It was the power was left to the parliament.
Created by parliament and the movement orchestrated by Langa Bizinensi. That's why there's a lot of gerrymandering. When I say
splitting districts for NRM benefit,
that Semanyo hand with Semanyo what MPs have gone and opposed. Yes, we call it what? Masturbation. This is political masturbation.
Are you serious?
You are doing political masturbation. You are dividing your constituency.
You're pleasuring yourselves.
You are not. This is already.
So you are telling me, in order to increase their numbers, they split districts where they already have support.
Exactly.
And so no opposition can go there.
When you talk about the fact that are you different from UPC that made it impossible for these MPs to cross? Are you saying that we shall not have, if we go for elections, where these people, where the opposition are failing to sponsor candidates, are you telling us that they will not get, they will not get a single vote? If they get votes, then it embarrasses you. How can you say that a man like Kasaija cannot win even at LC1?
Are you serious?
If his votes have voted.
Are you serious?
You see me, I'm critical. I've heard.
You have heard that on Kasaija every day.
Me, I'm a consultant. I have I got a business, but my money has spent two weeks without reaching my account. I want to know. I'm investigating. If you people, you are just joking on my account, may I have no other solution to kill you? Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Can you negotiate extra time?
My account, may I have no other solution? This is my money. I have the brain. I sold my property, and I hear these idiots touching on my money. You will see. Me, I'm not a criminal. I worked for you for 14 years. Devoted you. Are you a horse? Are you a horse?
What do your horses do?
Are you a horse? For Museveni without money, like me. How much money do you give me? Touch my business money, I will kill you. No problem. Anybody who touches my money, tampering with my account, we shall see. Tuna wonana. Yes. Yeah, I don't beg.
So in 2 weeks' time, you receive nothing on your account?
Electoral Commission chairperson. When the people hear that the chairman of the Electoral Commission has summoned opposition leaders for violating COVID-19 rules, people laugh. It is like saying that a judge in Uganda has nullified the elections for bribing, buying the beer to voters. People laugh. Because this is common, except in this election. Museveni is going to win in this election. Why? He's using Buyekera tactics.
He's going to lose.
No, Museveni is going to
lose the election.
Very big margin. I'm telling you.
Unless he rigs the polls, according to opinion polls.
60 and 70. I'm telling you. And when I predict, look what this book of mine. I wrote it 5 years ago. Before elections, before nomination. Before election.
Yes.
I said Museveni was going to win. Even now, Museveni is going to win. Why? Museveni is underestimated by his enemies. Bobi Wine handlers are underestimating Museveni. The moment when you think that Museveni is panicking, this is when it is strong.
That is propaganda. We have seen this physically.
Do you see money in this election? Do you see money? Museveni flows accounts of the mafias who are financing Bobi Wine, and he ensured that foreigners don't send money through non-government organizations.
So that is not fair play.
The voters for the first time, I'm telling you, the voters from 1980 up to today, this election is going to be like a 1980. Unless you rig it at the top, you cannot win. So Museveni's opponents cannot defeat him because the voters are not going to be influenced by him.
Let me understand that, Muzee.
Yes.
Let me understand that.
Yes.
Museveni freezing the sources of his opposition, and for him he has money. He's already an established politician.
Give money. You didn't know why the Dianas were stealing the money left, right, and center. These Dianas, do you know how Diana became a permanent secretary in Ministry of Health? They humiliated Rukwako, put him in prison, but I know. I wish I had come from people like Rukwako's families. You humiliate me? Me? One who kills the other. That's so you are. They went to the Rukwako. Former permanent secretary of Health. They humiliate you and you become a commissioner in the Ministry of Education. Men no. Mirundi spirit can hang me. I come from a grave and arrogant family. You cannot. You invited me, the former permanent secretary of Health. After malishing me, you put me, you poison me, and you call me at a function where Diana is in attendance. Let somebody do it. Call me where Tumwebazi is in attendance and his colleagues. Museveni would be. He was inciting me to kill Tumwebazi. How can me work in the president's office when Tumwebazi was a minister after humiliating me? Museveni was encouraging me to commit murder. I cannot do it. That's why I didn't go there. Me, Mirundi's son, that you humiliate me. That's works in love. That is a Muganda woman. A Muganda woman, after slapping him and doing, after slapping and doing what? You settle the matter in the bed, but you money your bed. That's not it. Mom is tough man. That's why I fought with them. Nkabatera ngengoma. Nkabatera ngembaga. Nkabatera ngengoma. Nkabatera nga namunjoloba. Nkabateranga mujakuzo, nkabafuwanga omulere, nkabateranga ngengalabi,
bakola kyabo botera buli kaseera,
nkabafuwanga omulere, nkabateranga amabanda, ng'empaka, empaka y'Omuganda, omulere, obwesongozi, engoma, namunjoloba, mujakuzo, empunyi, kabatera ngembaka, bamafia kabatera ngembaka, kabatera kabafuwanga omulere, kabatera ng'amabanda, kabatera ng'engoma.
When are you stopping okubatera? Or you still hitting hard on them?
People. These elderly men, I supported them. In fact, I have taken them.
How are you supporting the mafia?
I have decided. With the two people in Uganda will tell you that to step in the urine and step in the real sea. Where do you step?
Of course, you rather step in the liquid than in the solid.
The group, which is headed by Igwabogo, is more dangerous. That's why when it comes to the food, the Baganda have a saying, yes. With the police.
Yeah, that they keep them there.
No.
Mzee, I wanted to ask you, why were the ballot papers kept in guard by the counter-terrorism unit?
Yes.
I hear counter-terrorism, is it a situation of terrorists in the country?
I was telling you a story that a woman, when I was in the primary 5 or 6, Amin introduced the literacy campaign. We were deployed to go and educate the elderly people to learn how to write, to learn how to read and write. The assignment was reserved for primary 6 and 7. But because I was highly intelligent, I could do anything. I was in the school choir at primary 3. Yes.
Doing music and doing everything. What haven't you done since you are here?
My brain, I have a very Once me, I can attend a press conference without a paper, a pen and a paper. You ask my colleagues, ask people who, when I was still a journalist, Mirundi could go to a press conference without a newspaper, without a paper, a book and a pen. But I could go back and reproduce whatever was said. Even if a press conference takes an hour, Mirundi can go to a rally without a newspaper, without a notebook and a pen, and I just listen. When I go back, I write whatever was happening. God gave me a very sharp memory.
Can you sincerely quote a direct speech? After listening,
even the figures. When you say journalist,
that's so special.
When you say journalist asking for a press release, it's a resident journalist. Press release is not.
He wants to copy from what?
So I was telling you that I was picked, although I was in the either P4 or P5, to participate in the teaching in the elderly. I mean, introduced the literacy campaign, and I remember in the P7 it came as a question, which ministry was responsible for the literacy campaign, because it was done not by Ministry of Education, but the Ministry of Culture. And we had, so when we talk about
a special thing that was reserved for P6 and P7, they gave it to you at P4.
Community centers. We used to have community centers during the British time, where people could go and learn. You are talking about NADs, you are talking about what? These agriculture officers could come to the villages. I mean, what constructed these community centers. In every district there was a community, in every town. I remember every 24th of a month, we used to have a film sponsored by the Ministry of Information. A film. We used to go to Kalisa and watch these films. Educative, advertisement and what? And there was a film unit in the Ministry of Information. You're here today, Nabakova. It's just a shadow.
Minister of National Guidance.
Kakati Nkugamba, the story, how I survived. There was a girl, a younger girl, a beautiful girl, came to teach us, because he directed all of the students from TTCs to come and participate. Their role was to teach us, and then we teach the elderly. I saw the same movie in Otega's country, Nicaragua. What had done in 75 was done in Nicaragua. That's why has a big following here.
Yes. So people still remember him.
Yes. So this younger girl, this woman, not was only young one. I think she was doing her second year in tier training college. She came to teach us.
She was an intern.
You see, for me, I'm very humble when it comes to women. Because I liked my mother very much. I love my mother very much. So I have a soft spot on the woman, on the women. Ask Nacho, ask this.
But you are
the former PS.
You are too hard. You are too hard on. You are too hard on Narweiso. You are always too hard on her.
I've forgiven in Narweiso. Yes, I've forgiven.
Just in the last program we were hitting hard on him, on her.
Why? You listen to the tape I've recorded. I have now a different view about Mwenda. Mwenda says the way I've punished him in Salah. You listen. The person who, there were three people, the schemers, Tumwebaze, Waboko, Nakalema. These are the people who fought to me. Because Waboko wanted to replace me with his colleague, Don, which is okay. Literally, you go. Waboko will never rule this country, I'm telling you. I can predict things. When I predict 10 things I see it, I'm not saying Waboko as president of Uganda. Maybe he will get one of his farmers, Nateka Bendera ya Uganda, Najerekitinga, Najidekera Republic of Uganda, Nateka Mukazuenga facility. They were Waboko Talifuka Kwanga. Kakati the two, I'm considering the two. You listen to the recorded detail. Kakati Nkuga, Yumulamu Wang, a girl came, told to me in the primary, 5. After our course at the teacher college, they have a university there. The Catholic University is way on Masakali.
Uganda Matters University.
Yes.
Are you talking about Uganda Matters?
A TTC. The woman goes to Nairobi for secretarial duties. A course. Many of our people, our girls, who were well to do, their families took them to Nairobi, where there was a prestigious secretarial college. My brother, my elder brother, all left for Nairobi to do his university study. They met. When they met in Nairobi, one day when I had brought my smuggled goods to Chotela, they told me that your brother, your elder brother has come and wants to talk to you. I left my magendo in Chotela. I went home to see my brother. Why? He used to bring me nice suits from primary. I was putting on a suit. That's why I don't separate from suits. I was brought like a Mulangira. Children used to fight over me to take me to school because my father had a bakery. Ngenda ne bands kuminezi. I'm arrogant. I grew up with the lucky side. Yes. Very good. I was treated no bishop. Wetuke waka. Mulamu wange nandaba. That woman noticed me and he told my brother, I told you this boy, how do you call him? He said, no, he's my brother. What is he doing? He scored 230 marks. He refused to take up the vacancy in teacher training college. My father wanted me to be a teacher. Say he's now a smuggler. He's a smuggler. I was a notorious smuggler.
At P7. Since P7.
And I was a notorious smuggler. Recently, I told this man, Kabonero, I was bringing, one of my companies were bringing me dry sales, Amanda. And Kabonero and Bukenya went to the Chinese companies and they deposited there $1 million.
Are you telling him, Professor Bukenya?
And they took a monopoly of dry sales. I went, it is illegal now. Uganda Revenue Authority cannot allow you to bring the Manda here because they have a monopoly. Mandela has a monopoly on the tires. Where you have an economy running on
monopolies.
You have monopolies everywhere. Put is a monopoly, tires are a monopoly, milk is a monopoly. Because I
went to town sometime, they told me some t-shirts are a monopoly to someone in town.
I went and told the Kabonero, you man, you have blocked me from bringing the Manda. He said, okay. I enjoy a monopoly, pure monopoly here. Yes. But I can sell you at a low price. He said, no. Mirundi cannot be humble. I told the Kabonero after a month, are your sales high? We were even lenient with the international smugglers. We were even lenient to you, Uganda Revenue Authority, to give you even taxes. If you say that you have given the monopoly, you have created a poor monopoly, you cannot beat us on this. The man who started smuggling when I was in the pizza. Can you think? Do you think that Kabonero, does Kabonero, you ask Kabonero.
Does Kabonero enjoy a lot of sales?
Who enjoys a pure monopoly? Nobody is allowed. We are 20 companies, including mine. Nobody is allowed to bring him under now. Does Kabonero? Kabonero's sales high. I told the Kabonero, I'm an international.
But you are able to watch this video. I don't know how you will survive in your business next year.
I told the Kabonero, when you look at me in nice suits, you don't know that I'm a notorious smuggler. I told him, I will never come back to you. I'm not going to beg you, but I will bring. Now that we are not considered as by Uganda Revenue Authority as businessmen, let us teach you and the Uganda Revenue Authority
a lesson to remember.
Never forget. They ask Kabonero, Does he control the dry cells business in Uganda? If he does,
he got a monopoly.
And they are here. The dry cells are here. But because I went to Kabonero, ask him, ask Kabonero. This man,
I'll find him.
I think he's a one of a casino. I went to him and told him, Kabonero, you have grabbed my business, but I can assure you, I'm a notorious smuggler. I said smuggling. Odoleke, Tanzania, when I was in P6, you cannot beat me. Kabonero said,
in this game.
You are doing a lot to the president and the government. Let me reduce the price for you. I said, no. It's again a monopoly. Let us teach the government and other stakeholders that you cannot enjoy, you cannot create poor monopolism in an economy like ours. So, when I went there home, the woman recognized me and said, that boy is intelligent, highly intelligent. Told my brother, my dear brother, sure that he goes back to school. I would have been dead by now. Most of the smugglers contracted the HIV and they died.
They had money.
And they had money. Kakati nze, brother wange na sala amagezi. My brother, that's why I respect him. That brother of mine. When he wanted Mirundi to be influenced, my mother. This one knows my character. My elder brother knows my character. Even Ham knows my character. Ham cannot tell me, say that. For Musajja Mukutu. He does not, because he knows my character. Many people who know my character, Mirundi cannot be directed. I hereby direct. Mirundi will do the opposite. Ask my mother. I could fetch water and fill a tap without being directed. Directed Mirundi will refuse. That's how I was brought up, I don't know. This is the thing.
Is that a character? Mirundi, is it an inborn kind of thing?
Does anybody tell me to campaign for the president? Am I the highest paid man? Do you know how regularly do I meet the president?
I don't know.
I was getting 600,000 in the State House. But I knew people were getting 10 million. When you are talking about appointing an advisor, can Museveni mention my salary? It's shameful. That's why a term did and allow a retirement benefit. It cannot be. But because Mirundi is a man, once I believe in something, I don't believe in
it. Do you think Museveni connived with those guys to fight you? My father, my elder brother, he wouldn't be seeing me now. As mentioned earlier, all of the above directives were not implemented. The reason is that there exist formidable groups in NRM who are interested in maintaining the status quo. For example, no yellow book was produced. A committee was set up at the secretariat to verify academic papers of NRM aspirants. They were required to pay 2 million each as a verification fees by Tango. This did not work since verification of academic papers is a mandate of UNEP. Some members, however, lost their money and were disqualified by UNEP later. Kakati awali obuzibu bwa Museveni. Yabasaba $2 million.
Nabagamba.
Verifying empapula.
Tango Doi.
Nebamane babagoba ate.
Era Tango Doi is the man behind the sagging of COVID-19. Is now silent like a cave. Tango Doi has disappeared like a gonorrhea. Tango Doi organized primaries for NRM. NRM was the first party to organize primaries. What happened? The processionists. This chairman of the electoral commission is summoning these people, talking about procession. Who started them? NRM people violated the law, the COVID-19 law. They were seen, vividly seen. Yes.
But
what happened?
Even these days, we have NRM people carrying out the same issue. The man in charge
of the electoral commission was silent as a cave. Was silent as was sleeping as a corpse. He closed his eye with what was going on. Tango Doi said, when Tango Doi was asked by the general, They were asked him, what punishment is going to be meted out to these people who have violated COVID-19? Because the law, before nominations were done, Parliament had passed a law, which I told you when you read my new book now about Bobi. So therefore, the mistake that was done was not to punish those who violated the law during the NRM
primaries.
And the Baganda have a proof that it is the hereditary part, Enkulu, yeyigiriza ento okwonona mu kisu. When you see a nest, is that why do they use
the mother?
The mother. They run it from the mother. In the Kalomak said, if you want to use the discipline in the country, deal mercilessly with your people. This is why you people, you don't know that Captain Ziyamba, there were 4 powerful people, women at that time. Ziyamba, Mchala Juba, Waya, there were 3 most powerful women. But at one time, one incident, Ziyamba's escorts killed a thief, a robber. They were alerted that robbers were attacking. You know what happened? Museveni surrendered Ziyamba to the law. Ziyamba went to the gallows. She was acquitted of murder and her escorts by courts of law. This is why, at that time, where Museveni could surrender the violators of any law, this is why Museveni has maintained discipline in the army. Why? The moment you flout any military rule, you are referred to the military court martial. Museveni does not attend the court martial sessions. Tango the NRA violated. What about, are we all blind? I think the chairman of the Electoral Commission is a blind man. Doesn't he see people in yellow addressing rallies?
He sees them.
Yes.
The likes of Kasulu.
Yeah,
who attend mass rallies.
You will hear. You will hear. Kasulu has been accused, but you will hear that even the man who was killed, what type of people do we have? You kill an innocent man to implicate Kasulu into the matter to get him arrested because of the man who I say. Haven't I been saying it? That whenever I see Kasulu in charge of this man called what? Omuyonga something. I see him entering the prison. Kasulu fetu sana kwata kusende fetulimbwa. A man must pay for my radio programs so that I go. Am I your slave?
Dombo.
That somebody must pay. Who are you? This is a military. If I have the brain to talk on the microphone and convince people, carrying the money is important.
So you're telling me, Kasolo being in holding of Myoga money?
You wait, you listen to the recorded detail. In fact, the DPPC, the DPP should be arrested. Why? Because when you listen, the DPP connived with the man, somebody called the MPC. You listen to the rule. Kasolo was framed to get him arrested because of the money. Now, if Kasolo is the face of the
microphone
in the district, but the DPC and the accomplices don't mind about the political future. They don't know that Kasolo is tussling out with the two opponents. The man who defected from NRA is buying for the chairperson of the district. Tumukunde's candidate is also standing. But because of the money, obujuzi bwebanyinamu kyekaba tukyayiza twaba kyawolwa bujuzi nti omuntu ajje wange natwala 5 billion embwa ne bagijjawo ne bagitwala ewatali sente. Am I furnished to be moved from the sitting room to somewhere else? If a foolish woman accepts to be moved from the material room, then you will end up in the toilet. I cannot. You people, when you are humiliating us, you see, our mothers don't feel the pain. My mother was almost lynched. Are you saying that my mother did not deliver? I'm a product of the sex act between my Mirundi and his wife. Like you. My mother did not buy me from a carpenter. I was not bought from a supermarket like a doll. Why don't you respect the people? No, why don't you respect us? Where did you go to school that we didn't go? The Kulish you never raise him way, but your Baba Batti, never joke and see you now, never to joke of a Chawa. I cannot sit with these people, but I forgiven narration because of this step. And I'm reviewing Mwenda because he's talking, he says he's emotional. His newspaper magazine, I didn't know that his magazine is no longer in the publication.
No, he does not publish it.
And
he took it online.
This command of New Vision has been punished. Kulubya will pay. Kagati Kuba Nga negati chairman we electoral commission yakola tibiriyo toyinza kuyita bano babiri amuli at the other day was arraigned before court. A passenger can you arraign a passenger because of the mistakes of a rider? Is that policeman? I will send him. I directed my children to get me a book that talks about managing elementary management of traffic rules. How can you take this man to court? The other day, the people you are calling to punish the chairman of the electoral commission, we are seeing the pictures, photos of Bobi Wine sleeping on the roadside. And the argument is stupid. Why? If I'm going to Umbalala and there is a candidate in the massacre, am I not going to be allowed to go through the massacre? Am I going to address the rally in the massacre? Is my dissertation in the massacre?
No,
if
I'm just going through.
And this man was going to through. But because they want Bobi Wine to go through the villages, the rural areas, the police is helping Bobi Wine. Why do you keep this man to sleep on the roadside? Because you are stupid. Bobi Wine is used as a mudongo. Where do musicians sleep? Ask them. That's why they love themselves. Musicians
sleep around concerts,
yes, like
in their cars.
Why? Because they cannot afford decent accommodation. If they have no vehicles to drive back, they sleep in the open. They have a tent behind. Ask them. So when you subject it, you force Bobi Wine, like in Kiriandong. Bobi Wine is a victor. Why? Everybody sees that in spite of the support Bobi Wine has in those respective areas, he's not trying to overpower the policeman. Don't you know that this man is looking for sympathy? If Bobi Wine had decided, look what Museveni. Museveni was detained at a roadblock in 1980, and he was rescued by Saleh and others from Munnansi. But they did not fight. Now, Bobi Wine is a Abana ba UI. At a rally, a public rally, Kuba Nga at that time, we are addressing political rallies in what we call tutelage. You come as beauty contestants, then you pick the papers. Are you number one, are you number two, are you number six? So, Birigwa fell into the trap of these boys. The boy could come kneel before him and say, Quietly, Billy used to slap with these people. And the voters say, what type of man is this? What type of candidate is this? Who slaps a man? Because that man
in public.
But Billy could not explain that these people abuse me. The way the trick they want to blow on me. I'm an expert on the propaganda. Let us ring him this morning, the man rang me. I said, am I a minister of what? To provide jobs for you. Why do you ring me in the morning? These are people who think that when I abuse them, then they can, that what type of no, I get it to get marketing. I get the marketing myself as a man who can abuse you, who can slap you in the studio and go away with it. Even if I shout an opportunity, what? Who cares? So therefore, Kakatimba Gamba Nimbaga, the chairman where the commission is Zaluzinga. Toyita Kugamba. Omusajja bwe baasuzizza
ku luguudo mu mmotoka
oyita tukosoni
mpulira
yes tukisobola
wamusuzizza ku luguudo ate n'omuyita omubonereze the other day bamusuza ku luguudo kubanga nze ayino let me tell you many people misunderstand many people think that I work for Bobi Wine they don't work for Bobi Wine I'm sure 100% Museveni will defeat Bobi Wine with a big margin. Unless he rigs. No, depending on what we have seen in mobilization.
Where will Bobi Wine get the post? I'm telling you that Bobi Wine made a mistake by starting his campaign in these favorable areas. Two, Museveni has managed to cut off supply lines on his side because Bobi Wine was brought by the mafia.
Which is of course a market trick.
This man, this younger man in Wano, also has presidential ambitions. In many previous elections, would move with the sacks of money. This time Museveni locked him inside his house. Nobody is losing money. Museveni has frozen accounts of ministers. At one time, 4 ministers were under house arrest. They had to apologize. This is why, let me tell you, a poor election helps who? A poor election helps who? This is when the voters are going to regain their freedom. They have been losing to people. The MPs, the incumbent MPs thought that they would extend their term of office by 2 years. The incumbent MPs believed in the money. 80%, I've been saying it, of people power candidates are financed by the mafias. They got the money. The selection was done in such a way. The mafias could provide you with at least 50%. Today, a man who was nominated, a woman who was nominated on a party card, what does he say? Does not have money today to buy off for the voters. Museveni has also locked the money because his son-in-law always during elections would move with the sacks of the money to show his face and create his own people in parliament. They had selected a number of people to give money to go to parliament. Why? It's this parliament that is going to audit the Auditor General is insulated by law. So the parliamentarians, that's why they're fighting Kadaga. In Kadaga, because he has done very well, any group of people, even newcomers, Kadaga will stand there speak and will be voted as speaker. The alternative is to ensure that secondary loses. That when the secondary loses, then Museveni will appoint Kadaga as a vice. Kadaga cannot accept to be vice because the vice president is under the total control of the conmen, the mafias in the state house. The vice president does not have any control over money. That's why Nakalima, in the last election, was asked the consignment of T-shirts of the president and the vice president have come together. What one should we clear? Should we clear them? Nakalima said, no, clear those of the president after all is going to go. Bucket is hosting Sewamala, a notorious conman, that in a bid that he will defeat Sekandi. So therefore, I'm telling you, an election without money favors Museveni. I'm telling you, an election without money.
But even of course at first they used to say that he buys off for people.
This is one of the reasons why Bobi Wine is campaigning for any level people. Why? Because they know that his people, his candidates, without money, they expected the money from the market. You expected the money from the market does not come. They be defeated. The voters have gained their voting power.